and towards our very first draft of the M1 World Championship.
Yes, let's get our hands a little bit dirty, here, and let's see how these teams kind of want to play it out, because you can tell a lot from teams, especially the group stages when they played best of 3 series, through their picks and bans. It kind of gives you an idea of where they want to direct their composition and how they kind of want to play the game.
That's right, and of course, starting off, there are so many possibilities that they could actually go for. They could actually ban off popular fighters like Xborg, or even take out pesky marksman coming in from the back as well, which will be the Kimmy. But then again, Kufra has always been that really solid frontline or support that they could possibly bring into the table. The Tyrant's Rage and the bouncing ball, of course, causing heavy disruption. They don't want to deal with that at all from Evos SG.
Yeah, what's great about the Kufra here is that it kind of opens up options, especially when it comes to counter picks. Like Kufra, yes, is absolute monster, great at setups, great engage, but it also kind of allows you to play things like, oh, I have Gusion on the table now. It kind of opens up the mage pool a little bit more.
That's pretty much true, but then again, we also see that Gusion has fallen off the radar for a little bit, but then again, we also know that the MPL Indonesia side really favors the Gusion, so maybe this will be that heavy contest between the two of them. Same goes to Chao, same goes to Kaya, as well as Grout, but maybe they might just want to let loose some of all these picks. So Kimmy is still up there, and let's see whether or not Evos SG will be taken off the table, and instead they will ban off that high loss.
Looks like a high priority on a lot of these tanks here. I mean, high loss recently, after the patches, has been getting so good with the Revitalize as well. He's just becoming this unstoppable monster. And I think RQ, great response, getting rid of the Grok as well. First pick going over to Evos here. What are they going to go for?
Well, there's definitely a lot of choices for Evos, and we've also seen them play a whole lot of all that Chao. So I do believe they might actually consider that, or they could even go for a Kimi right here if they want to.
True. I'm thinking more on the lines of Esmeralda, because again, there's not a lot of things that could stop it. Franco is still on the table. But it's really iffy here. It's really iffy when you have Kaja on the table. It's like, oh, the utility is just so good. Even if you pick Esmeralda, one Divine Judgment is enough to lock her down.
That's right. The Divine Judgment would be good enough for them to actually get that sort of a head start that they're looking for. And now it's RRQ's turn to make a move. Well, RRQ, of course, have a lot of all these options on the table, such as Marksman. I do think that Granger has been pretty much great in this recent patches, where they could definitely consider. But in this early phase of the game, should you give that sort of priority to even Marksman? I would always go for perhaps the solo laner, and now we're looking at Marsha as well as Akai being brought in for the very first game.
Pretty interesting, because like they could have flexed out the Cho. They're willing to give it. They're willing to say, hey, Cho's on the table. We can pass it to you guys, but it's not going to be that great for you because it's Masha against Cho. It's not as good as you want it to be. Masha does have a lot of options to deal with the Cho in comparison to some of the other fighters. Though it is not great, obviously. But again, it's like, do you really want to take Cho away from us? Do you really want to flex it? And we're allowing you to do the 50-50 because then we're just going to get better priority picks later on to the draft.
Oh, that's pretty true. And now that we're also seeing Evos here, they could even get themselves that mage pick as well as fire before getting it banned away. Instead of taking that Chao, they could still ban it off in that sort of sense. And now we're seeing Granger as well as Thomas locked in for Evos Esports. Now, I'm feeling pretty good about this. Now, a whole lot of high damage output coming from the side of Evos SG. Same goes to some true damage output coming from Thomas as well. So, in terms of team fight, I would say that they do have that sort of security in the front line. And I'm not sure what will they actually bring in much later on, and this is going to force RRQ to pick up the marksman before getting that secondary option.
Yeah, and the best part about Kimmy is that she can be flexed into those roles. She can play your mage role, or she can be put into your regular 80 carry sort of, depending on the build you want to go for. I think that's the big definition here. But coming into the second picks and bans, it's going to be important because each side is lacking is lacking a strong frontline tank. Akai, yes, he can tank. He's got a great passive, but more importantly, he's a playmaker. He's looking to make the plays. He's not looking to peel, and that's why you have to have a secondary tank on top of him to kind of be that frontline, being like, hey, stay away from my backline. I'm going to try and create space.
That's right, and I do believe that Akai is going to play a real vital role for RRQ, especially when it comes to team fights. That Hurricane Dance, if you can pin somebody right on the wall, that could be pretty much a free takedown for RRQ, and Lunox is going to be eliminated on that third ban of Evos SG. Now, what do you feel about Lunox here? Because I feel like Lunox, of course, is not as strong as those previous patches where she could just easily run rampant and easily get out of those team fights. But now we're seeing two of these mage bans. So now for RRQ, they still have a lot of options on the table, and what will they go for?
I mean, Esmeralda is on the table here. Do they really want to go for it is a bigger question. Like, RRQ have an option because Kimmy is being flexed. You can see where it's like, okay, I could go for a really strong mage here that could get locked down, or I could just lock in my tank and kind of sit and wait on this. Because again, Evos Esports, they can't double mage right here. If they double mage, they kind of just completely give up on their team composition at that point.
Oh yes, indeed, and it's going to be pretty tough. Now I'm looking at a Lolita pick coming from the side of RQ, which was great, and they also understand the fact that Evo Singapore here likes to go on that Chang'e pick. So this is going to be pretty tough for Evos Esports if they ever were to pick Chang'e to come in towards this matchup against RQ. And, you know, Meteor Shower is definitely one huge spell in those team fights.
Oh,
but
yeah.
if Lolita's all the way in front, then it does not mean all too much. And if they get caught out with a Nunes Blast, it's going to be pretty tough. But you talk about the Valor, it's going to be Evos Esports being pretty much greedy with both mage picks right here.
I kind of like that. And though the mage picks, I completely forgot about the Valir at this point in time. Yeah, he's going to be put into that support role. He deals a lot of damage, has a lot of disruption. The pushback is absolutely great. The moment he hits level 4, I mean, he's almost guaranteed first blood even in certain situations. Great wave clear, everything you want in a support, just that he doesn't have a very large health total.
Well, I would certainly agree with that, but I really don't like the fact that Evos Esports, they don't really have a proper tank per se, other than, you know, Esmeralda as well as Kaya as the frontliner. And if RRQ here gets themselves pretty much all ramped up with those early leads of the game, then I would say the side of Evos SG will possibly be in pretty deep trouble.
Agreed. I definitely agree there. I think a lot of work needs to be done by both Kaya as well as the Valir to kind of set the pace of the game. The tempo needs to be controlled for the side of Evos Esports, but let's just see how RRQ kind of wants to play this out, because they have to play this until level 4, and that's when they need to capitalize.
That's right, and of course, that final pick of the Gore is something that is a stroke of genius as well, just in case if they were to commit in that 5v5 situation. So it's going to be pretty much a great move for RRQ, and I'm having my eyes set on that Masha pick as well. Masha, of course, in MPL and MYSG was like a 50-50 sort of win rate.
Yeah.
So I'm not too sure, but I've seen some great games come from MPL Indonesia with Masha split pushing, doing so much of that damage. And of course, it's really dependent on the sort of build that they go in for as well. But Masha has been pretty much tough to deal against. As she pops in that life recovery, she could just easily get back to 100%.
Yeah, but that's the thing. When you give someone like Thamos, we put Thamos on the table. Now Masha has like an option where it's like, oh, I can't really fight 1v1 as good as I want to. So that kind of puts you in a controlled situation. She really has to be efficient with a lot of that wave pushing.
That's right. And of course, they really got to find a way to actually stop Masha before she even snowballs into towards that late game monster, while Tamas is going to be doing exactly the same in that sort of sense, but at least Tamas does have a little bit of that mobility to escape in that sort of situation. And we're also thinking about all these sort of the spells that all these professional players will be pulling off. You talk about Revitalize, of course, there's a lot going on with those teleportations in towards this match, but now, of course, you guys are excited, so are we, as we'll head into our very first matchup, Evos Singapore versus RRQ.
Smash them.
Now, looking at the lane assignments, it's looking pretty standard for now. Masha is going to be the top side, and Thamos should meet them. Very basic fan. They're trying to make sure, okay, no early invades, no shenanigans like this. And JPL, he just needs to keep control over the wave, put enough harassment in to kind of force them into situations where it's like, okay, you can't go for the rotation, and I won't let you because I have vision.
That's right, and now we're looking at Tuturu already clearing out the wave on the bottom side, and both sides are playing it relatively safely. They're not really going in for those aggressive invades that we've already seen them pretty well known for. But speaking of that, Evos Esports, they're starting things off pretty much on a high tempo over on the top side. Sin will be facing off against Soul. Oh, look at that burst damage. It immediately forces some moves, and RQ Sin is forced to pull off that flicker.
Yeah, really, really quick. It's really interesting what RRQ did here. They basically used Masha as a meat shield so that the tank as well as the mage doesn't take a lot of damage. In response, really well done here. Oh, the rest of the team's actually going on too. Vin is actually in quite a bit of trouble. He's taking quite a lot, but they have to kind of peel back. He's so little too late. JPL has to pull back quickly. Dashes right on out of there. I Am Jago finally responds in time. He is level 4. Oh dear, Bambi, not going to catch anybody with a Star Moon Fall. They're going to back away.
Oh, they really have to back off. Look at them. They're only level 2, and I Am Jago is going to fight back in a little bit more. So possibly going to escape, and he's going to be forced with that flicker as that bubble almost hits him right behind him. And now JPL. I really like the name change, so of course it confuses a little bit right there. But now look at the goal standings here. It's only about 200 gold in favor of RRQ.
Huh. Looks like there's only one arrival in this game. Okay, pretty interesting, pretty interesting. But yeah, I think Soul has done a really good job there controlling that top side, making sure Masha doesn't get too ahead and forcing out battle spells because she isn't managing that health total.
That's right. Of course, we've seen a lot of arrivals being played out in the previous matches in the MPL, but now starting off with only one here is still going to be pretty much vital, but we're seeing some challenges inside of the turtle pit here, as this will be first blood in the hands of RRQ, as the guard will be able to take one down. But Liam already on the forefront here, forces the flicker away from Ace, and now JPL has his Divine Judgment, but what can he do when he's all alone?
Yeah, there's just no follow-up right now. He can't really go in. A great catch coming in from RRQ, especially nailing a priority target like Oh Dear Bambi on that Esmeralda. Nicely done. Like, Oh Dear Bambi definitely disrespected a little walking up there.
Oh, yes, indeed. And now we're seeing JPL, of course, just checking on all these brush, making sure that every single one of these corners are going to be checked instead of getting themselves into his trouble. But look at JPL, he wants to force the Divine Judgment. That's an easy kill for Evos SG.
Great setup. I mean, I don't know whether or not I think Potato should have been able to land the ultimate there without any issues, but you know, just in case, get a Divine Judgment just to add a little bit more salt to the wound.
Oh, that's right. And of course, giving the kill over on the Granger is going to be pretty much vital. But look at Vin, he's walking into a trap, but instead JPL almost get caught as well. Here comes the backup coming from Liam as well, trying to get in with that Hurricane Dash, pinning him across the wall, pushing it into his Tuturu as well, and this will be yet another kill falling in the hands of Tuturu.
Great plays coming in from RRQ that Evos Esports is in a little bit of trouble. They are giving a little bit too much space for RRQ to kind of play with here. They're putting themselves very vulnerable. Now ball lane, Numenor Blast is already put. Ace is in trouble, gets locked down instantaneously. The moment Ayajago has his ultimate, he will go for another kill. Granger goes down too as the rest of RRQ backs away. What a clean dive.
Did you just see all three of these ultimates being utilized at the same time? And I just love how RRQ is sieging right now. And immediately, they secure yet another one. He should not even be anywhere close as JPL will falter. But back into the top lane here. Soul versus Sin.
Yeah, he's doing a great job maintaining Masha's life at, you know, that 1 bar instead of maximum of 3, just to make sure that he's always in threat for his life. If he walks up too far, he's going to get punished. But
That's
again,
right.
RRQ, the rest of the team is doing such a good job. On the opposite side of the map, they took Turtle, taking buffs, and now the big question is, can they break that top and mid?
Well, it should be pretty much a good rotation to take that one tower down. It shouldn't be too much of a hassle. As we look at the gold graph here, it's slowly, of course, heavily favoring on RRQ, if I must correct myself right there. But Evos Esports looking for a little bit of leeway here to catch out some of the stray members of RRQ. Now, Tutu is going to soak in a little bit of that sort of poke, but it shouldn't mean too much. Maximum charge already landing on Jiao PL. Of course, a little update on that name. But top side, it might just be a flank coming from RRQ.
Yeah, they're doing a really good job. RRQ is just keeping tabs on exactly where they are, making sure they don't have any options. They go for the initial stun here, switching over to Sin. He has to back away while they invade. I'm not sure whether they stole away the buff, but we're just going to have to wait and see. But Sin, he's just trying to maintain his space, and the rest of Evos is making sure he is at 1 life bar. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that Sin should have no issues at all to deal with these members, but when the Divine Judgment hits, it might just spell doom for them. But of course, Vin here will be able to take the second tower for RRQ.
Yeah, they make a close call, and I think if I was in Evo's position, the rotations coming in from RRQ is pretty quick, so they preemptively send someone else to the top side, making sure they can kind of go for to protect that side of the map. They end up losing mid-turret in response, so I guess that might have not been the best play just yet. But I mean, Evos Esports SG, they need to find something here. Masha is going to have a field day with this amount of pressure that RRQ is putting.
Oh, that's right. But look at Bean, though, right? It's back in the middle, gets pulled with the Divine Judgment. Of course, this will be that one kill being secured here for the side of Evos. And oh dear, Bambi, of course, the captain of Evos is trying to do as much as he can to push themselves ahead with a lead. But it will still be a lead in the hands of RRQ for now.
Yeah, sacrificing Lolita. Masha just got a free push, breaking tier 2 easily with a single wave. You have to give her respect. Oh, wait, Liam, he's going for the arrival. Where is he going? To the top side of the map to kind of defend it and get a little bit more damage into that turret. But I think the rest of the team just wants to keep control over this turtle.
Oh, yeah. I felt like it was an unnecessary arrival, if you really want to ask me in that sort of sense. We are having a one-on-one battle inside the jungle here as Soul goes in for the chase. And Sin is just running away. And that will be a flicker here committed by Soul. But instead, he gets placed around. And now that kill will definitely be in the hands of Soul.
Nicely done. I mean, Evo says she realized that, okay, their 4 is a lot stronger. We can only do so much here. We're not going to give Turtle away. We're going to deal with your other win condition, making sure that, Jambiel might be in trouble. He takes a lot of damage from that charge, but they don't capitalize on it just yet. I don't think Gord has his ultimate. He used it earlier in the mid lane, so they don't have that kill pressure anymore.
Oh, that's right. And of course, for Evos Esports, they are just making sure that they stay as a unit over on the mid side as well. And they are just trying to raid inside. And look at Soul. He invaded the wrong territory, and he gets caught out. I felt like that should not happen at all, especially in a World Championship sort of phase here where, you know, you are not really facing against mid-tier teams. These are top-tier teams from all over the world, and RRQ will punish them for their mistakes.
Exactly. These guys, I mean, again, you mentioned top-tier teams. You cannot disrespect them. Now, I think they're just trying to keep pace with RRQ as of right now. So close to dying here. Maximum charge. Is it going to land? Just short. Just short. My goodness.
Oh, that was really close. But now RRQ will claim yet another tower on the top side as well. Looking for JPL. But there's nothing much that Evos SG can do but to fall back. Now the next aim will possibly be the mid lane as well, as we see Vin already on the forefront here. Soul needs to make a move, but that Lolita is not allowing any members to go past.
They need to make something happen here. The play can't be made. Ace can't seem to get into the fight without that Numenor boss just completely shutting him off. So they're looking for an opportunity to go in here. Oh, this is a little sketchy coming in from Soul as well as Bambi here, but it doesn't look like RQ want to pounce on it just yet. They're just kind of waiting for a mistake to be made by Evos first.
Yeah, they have absolute control inside of the jungle, and now we're looking at Ben here bringing one of these members to 50%. JPL have to fall back, and here comes Bambi trying to steal the buff away, and of course, Liam here will be eyeing out if whether or not will they be opposite, and if they do cross the line, that will be a hurricane dance ready to blow them back in towards the territories of RRQ.
Queen's Wings bought by Soul. Sin just got his corrosive sight, so there is no running from him, but he will be able to solo every objective. But a mid-fight actually breaks out. Evos Esports are trying to turn this around, but they can't. They're just locked into a place. Soul goes down as well. They knew they needed to defend Lord, but oh dear Bambi, he's kind of chilling out right here. Sin's in trouble. The rest of the team calls it, collapses straight on top of him. Let's have a replay one more time.
And look at them go. RRQ had the perfect setup, and of course, just in the blink of an eye, we're seeing even the Lord falling in the hands of RRQ. What a clean performance that we're seeing from RRQ so far, and slowly it might just touch that 10K gold lead mark.
Yeah, it's not looking good for Evos SG here. They don't exactly have a lot of playmakers in their sides besides JLPL, and right now, he's being shut down very hard. Like, he's getting hit by a lot of abilities that should not be landing.
This is what I was talking about when we started the draft, and I talked about the side of Evos SG not really having a reliable tank if they do fall in the early phase of the game, and now they're dealing with the same trouble, and the Lord is already knocking on their doors, trying to crush the mid lane tower, and RRQ is just waiting for another viable mistake. But look at JLPL though, he's in position, he's still waiting, and oh, that Gord! Oh my goodness, he gets cut out!
Ooh, they pull backwards. Good disengage. Good disengage. He still had the flicker, but now they're still going to get an inhibitor turret on the top side of the map. They're playing it slow, but RRQ know that they are in control. They can take one more inhibitor down, and yes, they do. They're breaking everything. They're slowly collapsing down onto Evos SG's economy.
That's right, and of course, we have Akai also buying that immortality, which means it's going to be even harder for the members of Evos, but look at that go. Vin's gonna go in with the Numinous Blast, catching over onto 3 members with the flicker as well. Hurricane Dash playing onto the face, and now RRQ, they're crashing right in, and oh dear Mambi almost falling out, and look at Evos members all in the disarray. Minutes are still in the front, but RRQ does not even want to make any sort of a mistake at all.
Yep, this is a killing blow here. The Death Timers, they're going to be able to respawn. Oh dear Bambi, he survived the last onslaught. He needs to clear top side. But again, minions are pushing in. Tuturu, he's going to be walking on it. There's nothing they can do. I am Jago, does not miss. His aim is true, and he cuts down the rest of the members of Evos Esports SG. They are looking to end this. Oh, ace.
Oh my goodness, what a clean game one that we're seeing here from Rex, Regium, Qeon. And now, game 1 already in the bag for RRQ.